Eighth graders, coming to you again here, Mr. Schmidt. I just want to bring you a challenge right away this week. You know, with the news about kind of the rest of our school year, I believe that things can be handled one of two ways. You can rise to the challenge and show what you're really made of as far as doing the schoolwork that's provided for you to make yourself as good as you can for next year. Or you can choose to simply step back and say, you know, guess what? I'm just going to get started on my summer break. And, you know, one is going to benefit you a lot more going into next year than the other. Some of you have continued to do your work and will continue to do your schoolwork all the way to the end of the school year. I firmly believe that that's the expectation, and that's what I know as warriors that you will rise to and be able to do. This week, just a little bit of a checking for understanding this week. Kind of going back a little bit to one of the first two things that I asked of you. As you see here, it's called standard check-in number 1. Please complete the questions that are there, and here's the standard that it's tied to. So MSPS 1.3 about synthetic things that are made from real materials. I just simply ask if you have not shared your is not document with me that you do so. Please just mark that. Double check, because I know in talking to some of you or having email or whatever conversations with you that you've completed those things. You just did not share it with me. And so as I'm looking to see who has completed those and what kind of help that you need going forward, if you have not turned that in, then I don't have anything to go off of. Then I would like you to click on this link here. It's a video. It talks about some synthetic things that we have that are made from real things. There's a lot of things that your lifestyle centers around that are made from synthetic materials. Materials that have some materials that we get from the earth, some renewable and non-renewable resources, and then we take those and we put those with things that we create in a laboratory, and we get some awesome things like your cell phone and your computer and the ability to have high-speed internet because of the wires and the capability things that we are able to do. And that goes all down the line, even to cars and foods and medicines. So take a look at that video. And then your questions there. What's the difference between a synthetic material and the natural material? Why do we make synthetic material? What's the purpose? If we can do with natural things, why do we make synthetic things? Is plastic synthetic? And then you can just highlight those anytime it says yes or no. What natural products are plastics made from? So what things do we get from the actual earth itself that we make plastics from? How do we make synthetic materials and things? What do we use? We use some of this and some of that. What is that, this and that? As you go through the video there, you'll be able to figure that out. In your opinion, are plastics good or bad, and why? I want you to think about the positives versus the negatives. And things can have negatives and things can have positives and still be good or be bad. I think there's, all good things in some way have certain negatives. And so do the positives outweigh the negatives or vice versa? That is in your opinion, and then why? And then the second one, about human, the earth and human activity. How are we impacting the earth? And so again, did you share your human impact on the earth document with me? Again, some of you have, some of you have not. Some of you think you have, but you have not. And so double check to make 100% sure. And if you're not sure, just share it with me again. Nothing hurt in that. And then did you complete the IXL EE1? So there's 2 E's there. Some of you did just E1. It should be EE1. And then yes or no. And what was your score? Remember, you can do those at 6th grade, 7th grade, or 8th grade level. So whichever level you want. And just because you do it at a lower level doesn't mean that I'm going to think any less of you. I just want you to gather that information there to better help you understand things going forward. And then using that document, the human impact on the earth that you did earlier, I want you to go back and answer some questions here. What's one way we can minimize human impact on the environment? And then there's been a lot of things that have been coming out. I like this question 4. Some of you have even sent me some things on this, and that's really awesome. and there's a quote here that says, more humans means using more natural resources and causing more pollution. Well, people having to stay home due to COVID-19 means less people are using things that can pollute the environment. So find and paste below a one website or source that shows a positive impact people having to stay home has had on the environment. Your example can be from anywhere in the world. So it can be something that's happening in Italy or Russia or Australia or right here in the United States. What is one thing that we are being able to do that as people that we haven't been able to do for a long time? You know, one of the things that I came across, and if you find this, go ahead and paste this in, but people in India, there's a lot of pollution there. And there was an article that I read that said that for the first time in a long time, and in a lot of the people that live there ever in their life, they're actually able to see the Himalayan mountains because there's less pollution being pumped out by their factories because they have less factories running. And so the environment is pretty awesome in how it can clean itself up in a relatively short amount of time if we as humans don't keep messing things up. And so they're able to see the Himalayan mountains for the first time in a long time. And I can't imagine living next to such a beautiful thing as a mountain range, especially the highest mountain range in the world, and not being able to see that on a daily basis. That would, in my mind, not be a very good thing at all. Kind of tragic towards the taking away from the beauty of the world. And so what's one that you can find? And if you find that one, great. Paste in that link. That would be awesome. And there's a lot of things out there. So find one that's trusted, credited sources. Primary and secondary sources, as you've talked about in your other classes, are key to think about here. And then number 5 there, name one negative or bad thing that has led to the rise in global temperatures over the past 100 years. So what's one negative thing, what's one bad thing that we as humans have done, or that things in general have happened that has caused, we believe that is attributed to the rise in global temperatures over 100 years. And keep in mind that, the earth goes in cycles. And so if we take a look at things, the earth has warming periods and cooling periods. And so what things are we doing to negatively cause the rise to happen faster? Or do we believe is happening faster? And then 2 IXLs there, Y1 and Y2. Did you do those? What'd you get for a score? Again, I don't need to know, did you do it at 6th, 7th, or 8th grade level? But just that you did it and that you took the time to get yourself better. Then, when you're all done there, I would like you to click on the link that says Checking for Understanding. Number 1, when you do that, you'll go through just some questions here. Obviously, your name, what science core were you in this year for me? It can help me organize that. And then some things about, what is one example of a synthetic, something that's synthetic? What's an example of the positive, the good of synthetic materials? What's an example of the negatives or the bad of synthetic materials? Which is not an example of something humans can do to help the environment. And then one negative or bad thing that has led to the rise in global temperatures over the time. And then did you complete your IXLs that I asked there? Yes or no, those 3 IXLs. And then just make it a great week. You choose what you want to do with it. If you're trying to figure out what to do, when to do different schoolwork, pick a day, pick a subject, get all of the stuff for that subject done on that day, and then do a different subject the next day. And then by the end of the week, you have all 5 cores taken care of. And so I hope that you are staying safe. I hope that you are being smart and overall keeping your distance from people. And that just helps things. That helps us go through this faster. Do your part. And I'm in my house with my crazy kids. You guys saw my video from last week. And I think it's just making my hair on my face and the hair on top of my head just a little bit more gray. I sincerely miss being with you. When the news of the kind of future, if you will, from now to the end of the school year came out from Governor Reynolds, there was a lot of emotions in my house. And to be honest, I was saddened. And I miss being with you guys. I love my family, but my kids love being in school, and I thoroughly enjoy being with you guys. And so again, make it a great week. Know that you are loved, know that you are cared for. take some time, if you haven't, each day to check your email and to complete the morning check-in for Mr. Judge. If you need any help, please let me know. Send me an email, contact me, and I will do everything I can to try to help you with what you need. Again, make it a great week.